You want me to say really terrible things about Putin and then say, "Hi, Vladimir, how are we doing on the deal?" That doesn't work that way. I'm not aligned with Putin. I'm not aligned with anybody. I'm aligned with the United States of America. And for the good of the world, I'm aligned with the world. And I want to get this thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred. And I understand that, but I can tell you the other side isn't exactly in love with, him either. So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done. You want me to be tough? I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough. But you're never going to get a deal that way. So that's the way it goes. All right, one more question.
I would respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the President of the United States' words mattered more than the President of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact line?
2015.
2014.
2014 and 2015.
2014.
Yeah. So
I was not here.
Yeah, but
that's exactly right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, the situation the same. The people are been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him. Me, like a new president. In 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire. Ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed with him with gas contract. Gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the President for trying to bring it into this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems, even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know
bless.
that.
You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in no
answering on
position
this
to
question.
dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly what
this.
you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel.
We're
going to feel very good.
You will feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position.
You don't
have the cards right now. With us, you start having
not
cards.
playing cards.
Right now, you
I'm
don't.
very
Yeah, you're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're
I'm
gambling
the
with the
president
lives
in
of
war.
millions of people.
You think
You're
you-
gambling with World War
What you're-
III.
what you're
You're
speaking about?
gambling with
What you're
World
speaking
War
about?
III. And
You-
what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country.
I'm
That's
with
back
all
to
respect to
you.
your
Far
country.
more than a lot of people said
very
they
respect.
should have.
Have you said thank you once? This
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
have you said thank
Even
you?
today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the
What-
United
what
States
you're
of
speaking
America
about?
and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can...
not speaking loudly. He's not
Yeah.
speaking loudly. Your country is
Can I-
in big
can I-
trouble.
can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No,
Can
you've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not
I
winning.
know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of
we are
coming out
staying,
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this
We
cabinet.
gave you, through
I
this
said
stupid
thank you.
president, $350 billion.
You
We
voted
gave
for
you
your
military
president.
equipment,
You
and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about
If
West?
you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
you invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak-
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3
okay?
days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I
Again,
tell you.
just say thank you.
I said a lot of
accept
times
that
thank
there,
you
accept
to
that-
American people.
Accept that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight
Good
it out.
afternoon, everyone, and happy Friday. So I just got finished watching the Zelensky, Trump, and JD Vance meeting in the Oval Office, and it was probably one of the most cringe-worthy things I've ever seen in my life. The meeting started with Donald Trump basically saying Zelensky has, mean things or bad things to say about Putin. And then it's like, oh, well, what's going on with the deal? And he's saying that that's a very difficult thing to basically make a deal because these two men hate each other. Well, these two men they're in war with each other. So of course they hate each other. They're killing each other's men. And so it's completely understandable that they hate each other. And I'm not sure why you, the broker of peace, because the United States is supposed to be the moral, we're supposed to be the beacon of hope. We're supposed to be the moral leader. And so if your job is to broker peace, you're there just to broker peace. You're not there to concern yourself with Zelensky hating Putin and Putin hating Zelensky. You're there to get a deal done. So I'm not exactly sure why he felt that was necessary to say, but he said it. And then JD Vance, the conversation, the meeting seemed like it was going okay, I suppose, until JD Vance basically said, well, we want to have a conversation about diplomacy and how we can stop this war and how we can get, basically get out of this war and stop this war. And Zelensky goes on to say that Putin has been basically ramping up his aggression since 2014. Now, we know in 2014, President Obama was the president at the time, right? Trump didn't get into office until 2016. So Zelensky is saying from 2014 until 2022, 8 years, basically, that Putin had been ramping up his aggression, men were killed, bad things were occurring, and no one stopped him. And so Donald Trump and JD Vance basically took offense to that. But this is what Zelensky was saying. And Trump went on to say, you don't want a ceasefire, but Zelensky doesn't want a ceasefire because he knows that Putin is not going to adhere to the ceasefire. He's not going to abide by the rules and the regulations. Putin is not going to do, because he already had a ceasefire with him, I believe in 2014, and Zelensky is basically saying he didn't abide by the ceasefire then. So basically, why would I want to have a ceasefire now? It will be pointless because Putin is not going to play by the rules. He's not going to play by the rules and the regulations. He's not going to do everything that's outlined in the ceasefire. He's going to do whatever he wants to do. So why would I even want to have a ceasefire with this man? And for whatever reason, it seems like JD Vance and Trump wanted to go over that point and basically treat Zelensky as if he was the aggressor. He was the one that didn't want to broker a deal. But what he's saying to you guys is, we've already had a ceasefire in place. And Putin didn't adhere to the rules and the regulations of the ceasefire. And other leaders, other presidents of other countries had already told Zelensky, Putin is not going to adhere to any of the stipulations in the ceasefire. So I understood his point. He wasn't being disrespectful. And so JD Vance and Trump went on this whole thing where they're being it almost felt like this was their plan to antagonize Zelensky. It felt like that to me, because when he responded to JD Vance's question, he wasn't being combative. Zelensky wasn't being combative. He wasn't being disrespectful. What he was basically saying is, why would I go into a ceasefire with a man that I know is not going to adhere to the rules and the regulations of the ceasefire? And so JD Vance was trying to get so many. And then Zelensky said, and this is what made, because Trump was actually in the beginning very calm. JD Vance was trying to get his brownie points, and he was going. Trump was kind of sitting back and kind of observing, right? Trump got upset, and I can kind of understand it, but by that time, Zelensky and JD Vance was already going at it. Trump got upset when Zelensky said, you guys are, he basically, and I'm paraphrasing here, he basically said, you guys are going to experience, I guess, like backlash or what I'm experiencing. He should not have said that, because that is a confrontational thing. I understand why he said it, but it was still a confrontational thing to say. And so when Trump say, you don't say what we're going to experience, I didn't have a problem with Trump taking that approach, because Zelensky was being combative at that time, but it's because he and JD Vance was already going at it. And so he was making the point, like, because JD Vance was like, you know, you don't have any weapon, or he was like, basically, you guys are losing and you guys are this. And so he was attacking Zelensky's country and basically saying, you're losing, like, this is not going well for you. And Zelensky shot back like, well, you're going to experience some of this as well. So they are going back and forth, and Donald Trump hears that and go, don't say what we're going to experience, which was a natural reaction, because I'm the president of this country and I'm going to make sure my country is safe. That I understand Donald Trump's perspective regarding that little part. But remember, everything has a cause and effect. JD Vance and Zelensky are already going back and forth. So it's getting, the temper it's rising. And so when he said what he said, that's when Trump jumped in. And then Trump it's going to be very difficult to make a deal with this attitude. The attitude has to change. But the way JD Vance was going at him, what did you expect? See, they expect people to just bow down and don't say anything. And Zelensky is a very proud man. You can tell he's a very proud man. You can tell he's a fighter. And so taking something laying down, it doesn't seem like that's how he's built. And I don't blame him. You guys let me know what you think. If I'm wrong about something, please comment down below. Educate me. I always tell you guys, I'm here to be educated. I have my perspective. I have my opinions. And I welcome you guys' perspective and opinions as well, as long as everybody is respectful. I'm fine with that, because I am always looking to be educated, always looking to learn, always. Because as long as you're on this planet, you have the opportunity to grow and be better, and that's how I live my life. So I have no problem with learning or being educated or being told respectfully. And I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great day. Bye.